Hey everyone, this is Amazing Bets for UFC Vegas 97 full breakdown and prediction video with some hidden locks and prop bets. First up, we have Andrade Petroski versus Dylan Budka. Last fight in Dylan's debut, he was a minus 130 fave versus Cesar Almeida, and he shot a nice double 30 seconds in and got it and held it a bit before he managed to crotch sniff the entire first round on the fence. And by the second round, he managed to gas himself with his own style. Andrade Petroski last fight was a minus 110 pick'em versus Josh Fremd, and honestly made it look pretty easy. Fight before that, though, he managed to knock himself out on his opponent's hip. Petroski honestly is not one of my favorite fighters, and I'm shocked to say this, but I believe he's a lock, especially after seeing Budka on the scales. If Budka crotch sniffs hard for rounds 1 and 2, I think Petroski can land a choke like he did the Anaconda choke versus Maximov. And if Budka straight gasses, I think Petroski can land some power shots that put him out in rounds 2 or 3. My official prediction is Petroski by KO in round 2. Next up, we have Jaqueline Amorim versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Jaqueline was a plus 140 dog last fight, and she throws some lazy naked body kicks, but I think it's in the hopes that you take her down, which is exactly what McKenna did before being subbed by an armbar in round 1. She's okay at best on the feet, but a wizard on the ground and has some potential cardio concerns, which she showed in her UFC debut where she lost to Sam Hughes. Sadly, Demopoulos is a cardio machine similar to Sam Hughes, except probably better with better grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Originally, I thought Jaqueline would be a lock, but Vanessa is a pretty bad matchup for her. However, I was impressed with how Jaqueline adjusted between her debut and her next few fights with way more cardio control and favoring position over submission in her grappling exchanges, which I think will help a lot here. She's super young and clearly improving between fights, and I think Vanessa will have enough BJJ experience to avoid the submission, but will lose 2 rounds due to control. My official prediction is for Jaqueline Amorim to win by decision, but I will also be sprinkling the splits. Next up, we've got Lima versus Felipe dos Santos. I'm predicting pure mayhem and chaos in this matchup. Lima last fight somehow missed weight by 5 pounds, fighting at 125 before winning a split. He throws strong kicks and hammers the leg kicks while switching stances. He has solid forward pressure and is good on the ground with decent get-ups, but grabs the fence regularly and poked Raposa in the eyes twice. Fight before that, he was pulling the fence enough that his opponent bit him and got disqualified. Felipe dos Santos won a sketchy decision last fight versus Altamirano where he showed absolutely zero takedown defense, but was decent at getting back up from the ground. He trains at shoot boxing with Charles Oliveira, and the fight before that, he debuted versus Manel Kopp and showed off a great heart with some solid striking and hurt Manel, even though he got pieced up for 3 rounds. I'm pretty torn on this one, and I'm rooting for Felipe because it seems like Lima constantly cheats. But both of these guys are super young and improving, and I think this is going to be a banger with absolutely nothing safe. However, my official prediction is for Felipe dos Santos to win by decision, but I will also be sprinkling that a point is deducted for plus 2,000 odds. Next up, we've got Isaac Dulgarian versus Brendon Marotte. Dulgarian was a minus 190 fave versus Christian Rodriguez, who is absolutely no slouch, but managed to manhandle him for the entire first round after landing a takedown 8 seconds in. He was also threatening the Peruvian necktie and is clearly a wizard on the ground. He's had all first round finishes except for his last fight versus Rodriguez, where he lost a split after gassing himself good. He's strong with KO power, but after he got tired last fight, he showed off his chin and lack of ability to even remotely move his head off the line. Brendon Marotte debuted versus McKinney at plus 390 dog and moved back immediately, which is never a good sign versus McKinney. He ate a knee in like 6 seconds before taking a real long octagon nap. At these odds, I think it's a pretty stupid fight to bet. I think Dulgarian gets it done in the first round, probably by KO, but he definitely has submissions as well. My official pick for this one is going to be Isaac Dulgarian to win by KO in round 1. Next up, we've got an absolute banger between Trevor Peek and Yanal Ashmouz. Last fight, Peek was a plus 140 dog versus Campbell and was able to hurt him quite a few times, but definitely lost, and it was a long 15 minutes for him. Yanal's last fight, he was a plus 130 dog versus Chris Duncan and he did lose the first round before hurting his arm. Second round, while one-armed, he actually did better until Duncan noticed and kind of pieced him up in round 3. MMA math does not work, but it is worth noting that Peak could not put out Campbell, who was KO'd in round 1 by Chris Duncan, who couldn't put away a one-armed Yanal. I think Yanal is quite locked here as a dog, and if he's able to stay precise, he should win by decision or KO. However, with Peak's craziness, you never know, but my official pick is going to be Yanal Ashmouz by decision. Next up, we've got Matt Schnell versus Cody Durden. Matt was originally supposed to fight Alessandro Costa, but Cody stepped in with 4 days' notice. I had Costa winning easily, however, it is worth noting that I think Costa is way better than Durden. Schnell last fight was a plus 350 dog versus Urseg. I went into that tape study expecting to witness Schnell's glass chin, but I was impressed by some of the absolute bombs he ate all round 1 while firing back and even hurting Urseg before he took a prolonged octagon nap round 2. Last fight, Durden was a plus 105 pick'em versus teammate Bruno Silva. I was honestly impressed with how badly he hurt Silva, but he couldn't finish him and eventually ate one solid uppercut that put him away in round 2. I may be biased because I truly do not like Durden, and even though Schnell makes octagon naps a regular occurrence for the past half a decade, I actually think he has a better chin than Durden and throws harder. Durden may be more technical and outstrike him, but I think Schnell is going to land something that changes the course of this fight. Crazy prediction, but my prediction is for Matt Schnell to win by KO in round 2. However, I will also be sprinkling the splits. Next up, we've got an absolute banger between Steve Garcia and Kyle Nelson. Both of these guys have been winning as large dogs recently. Kyle Nelson was a plus 205 versus Algio, and then plus 200 versus Padilla, where he looked great in both and won them. However, he did get wobbled by Padilla. Steve Garcia, on the other hand, has won by KO 5 of his last 6 fights, and the other fight, he lost by KO, so we should expect some fireworks here. I think the difference maker here is that even though Kyle Nelson is a great striker, especially at range, when he's pressured hard, he uses a high intelligent guard. However, with Garcia's relentless pressure and aggression, I think he'll find a way through or around the guard or just invest heavily in the body. That's why for my official pick, I'm choosing Steve Garcia to win by KO in round 2. Next up, we have a WMMA banger between Jessica Andrade and Natalia Silva. Last fight, Andrade was a minus 150 favorite versus Marina Rodriguez and showed a little bit more restraint regarding recklessly pressuring. However, when she did recklessly pressure, that's when she was able to get up on the scorecards and hurt Rodriguez. She won round 1 due to ground control off a slip, and round 2 she lost the first 4 minutes before stealing the round in the last 60 seconds. On the other side, we have Natalia Silva, who I've been really high on for a minute. She uses Taekwondo style with a lightning fast lead leg and powerful hands to dominate on the feet. Last fight versus Vivian Araujo, she scared me a little by looking extremely gun-shy in round 1. However, once she warmed up, she styled on Vivi for 2 rounds. I'm a little nervous for sure, but I truly believe Natalia is a force to be reckoned with and a lock this weekend. I think she'll use her footwork to stay out of danger and her kicks and fast hands to stay up on the scorecards. That's why for my official pick, I'm choosing Natalia Silva by decision. Finally, we have the main event between Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady. Both fighters' second to last fight were losses to Bilal Muhammad. I personally think Gilbert looked better in his loss, lasting 5 rounds being one-armed, while Sean actually looked a little bit better striking and was crisp, but he just crumbled and looked a little gun-shy and not comfortable roughly the whole fight. Last fight, Burns lost to JDM in a great fight where he was able to land some takedowns and power shots before eating a ridiculously clean knee. Sean Brady's last fight, he beat Gaslam, which I didn't find that impressive, especially how he won, which was by board control and takedowns before a sub. I don't think he'll have as easy of a time taking down and controlling Burns as he did Gaslam, which is going to be a huge problem for him when he eats some of those overhands by Burns. I'm hopeful that this is going to be a fun fight unless I'm very wrong and Brady gets 20 minutes in control, but I think Burns wins by decision or a late round KO. For my official choice, I'm going to be choosing Burns by decision, but I will also be sprinkling Burns by KO in rounds 3, 4, and 5. Stay tuned and follow Amazing Bets on Instagram for full bet sheets, and let's rob the bookies blind this week.